Hello, everybody. Eric Smith here with my weekly wrap up for May 25th through May 31st, the end of another month. We're almost halfway through the year. Let's see. On the channel, Monday, I posted a review for Sweet Story by Carlton Mellick III. And on Friday, I posted a review for Artificial Condition, The Murderbot Diaries, Book 2 by Martha Wells. Please check out those reviews to see what I thought of those books. And of course, on Wednesday was Reading Remembrances. It was January 2007. So if you're interested in what I read back then, check out that video as well. Reading-wise, I read and finished Senseless by Ronald Malfi. This is a brand new book. I will be recording my review for this shortly. And I am currently reading Horns by Joe Hill, a book I have not read before. And I looked up a certain subject, Googled books about such and such. I don't want to say what it is because I don't want to potentially give anything away if you're not familiar with the story. Actually, I Googled such and such books. And this was on the list. I have it. Haven't read it. Haven't read Joe Hill in quite some time. So I figured I'd grab it and jump into it. I was hoping to have it finished before recording videos today. But you can see I've got a bit of a ways to go. So that's what I'm currently reading. And in moments, you'll find out what I'm reading next. But that leads me to, work. Nothing. 4-day week, which felt like 5 days, but everything went smoothly. I still haven't officially gotten my promotion, which means I've been doing the work, not getting paid for it. I can't think of anything exciting that happened at work, though. So, now, I think this is the part everybody really wants to see. Stuff that I got. You know what? I'm going to save the books for last. We're going to do this sort of backwards. I got a bunch of stuff here. Let's start with, I bought a brand new game. It is called Deep Regrets, an unfortunate fishing game. There's the back. It's got all sorts of cool stuff. There you go. Looks a little Innsmouthy. These weird dice. But basically, you either go out to sea to fish, or you can go into port to sell your fish, mount your best fish, buy supplies and things. But there are normal fish, or what they call fair fish, which are actually based on real fish, and foul fish, which are things never seen in the real world. And it takes a certain number of points to catch these fish. They are worth a certain number of points. But if you sell a foul fish, you take a regret card. As you take more regrets, you go more insane, which could be good, could be bad, depending on your strategy in playing the game. Anyway, we played it this afternoon, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I look forward to playing it more. So there's that. And then, as I said, I'm going to save the books for last. Went to the comic book store and picked up, this is going to be very shiny, Superman vs. Shazam. This is a facsimile Treasury edition. They had a matte finish cover, but I went with shiny. And DC has been putting these things out, and they are exact facsimiles, except for the price, of the original edition. So, for example, this has a little rundown of who Superman is, who Captain Marvel is, different things, age groups, home bases, nicknames, powers, etc., different things. Favorite expressions. Superman's is Great Krypton, and Captain Marvel, actually, is Holy Moly. And then in the back, it has the courtroom battle between Superman and Captain Marvel, so an essay. I have a couple of others of these. I missed the Superman versus Spider-Man one, but picked that up. And then this. Oh, I was so excited that this finally came out. This is a big, chunky boy. This is 1,208 pages. This is the Transformers Compendium 1. Look at the size of that thing. And this reprints, collects the Transformers 1984. This is the Marvel Comics stuff. So it collects Transformers 1984 1 through 46, and the Transformers Headmasters 1 through 4. So it actually started out as a 4-issue miniseries, and this was the cover of the first issue, is this right here. And then, so it was number 1 in a 4-issue limited series, but then after the 4th issue, it just continued on with number 5. And then that goes all the way through 46. And then sort of in the middle here, where it fits continuity-wise, there was an actual 4-issue mini-series called Headmasters. But this is, as I said, this reprints those old 80s Marvel Transformers books. And as a person who's trying to buy back his childhood, very excited. This goes great with my G.I. Joe Compendium 1, which reprints the Marvel G.I. Joe stuff. And I think Compendium 2 possibly for both of these. Maybe just the G.I. Joe comes out later in the year. These are big chunky boys. Very, very excited to have picked this up. Now, the thing everybody's been waiting for, the books that I picked up. It's not a lot, but let's do this one first. This is what I'm going to read next. This is a book that just came out on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, as of this recording. And I did not realize that's the day it was coming out. I thought it was coming out later in the year. Normally, I would pick this up the day it came out. But since I forgot about it, I saw people talking about it on social media. I immediately ordered a copy and got it the day after it came out. Of course, I'm talking about Never Flinch by Stephen King. I'm going in totally blind. I didn't read a description on Amazon. I have not read the inside flap. The only thing I might know, I think, maybe it's a Holly Gibney story, which would be great because I love Holly Gibney. I think way back when this book was announced, I saw something that it was a Holly Gibney story, but I want to go in totally blind. As soon as I finish reading Horns, I'm jumping into this bad boy. Very, very excited. Then I went to Half Price Books and wrecked my budget for this paycheck. I'm not going to starve, but it's going to be close. So let's start with, I just picked up 5 books, but we'll get to the budget breakers. This, something fun, $6 Million Man, number 1, Wine, Women, and War. And this says, based on the Universal television series created by Martin Caidin, adapted from the episode written by Glenn A. Larson. And it's a novel by Michael Jan, or John, Jahn, however you pronounce that, as seen on the ABC TV series starring Lee Major. I loved this TV series, and I've actually read the book that the series was based on. I believe it was just called Cyborg. So it was an original novel, and I don't know if for anybody who's familiar with $6 Million Man, he was an astronaut in a crash. They gave him bionic legs, 1 bionic arm, and a bionic eye. Or both, I think it's only 1 bionic arm and 1 bionic eye. And basically, he uses the eye as like a telescope. He can zoom in on things. But in the book, the original book, he had a bunch of different eyeballs that he could switch out depending on what he needed to do. I remember there was a camera eyeball, and there was a telescoping eyeball, and there might have been a microscope eyeball. But anyway, I loved the series, so I figured I'd I'd grab book number 1, novelization of one of the episodes. I don't even know if it's the first episode that they novelized, but it's the first book in the series. Then, very excited for this one, since apparently I absolutely love this author now. Sister Sister by Andrew Niederman. And I always find it funny that there's a blurb from V.C. Andrews considering that Andrew Niederman is V.C. Andrews. I've talked about this before. V.C. Andrews wrote 7 or 8 books before she passed away, and every book since then, I believe, according to my sources, every book since then, the hundreds, have been written by Andrew Niederman. And I don't know. I didn't check the copyright date of this, so I don't know if this is the actual V.C. Andrews or if he's just blurbing his own stuff. But anyway, I've enjoyed what I've read from him, and I loved The Devil's Advocate, which was the last thing I read by him. Pin was great. So I actually have a list now on my phone of all of Andrew Niederman's books, not any of the V.C. Andrews stuff, the Andrew Niederman. So, because I can't remember everything I have a list of what I don't have, and I was very excited to find this. Now the Budget Breakers. Just 3 books. One of them was $18. One of them was $20. One of them was $30. Some people are going to think I'm crazy for picking these up, or paying those prices anyway. And I wasn't even sure if I had some of these. So I did check Half Price Books return policy in case I had to return some. Normally, if I buy something and it turns out I already have it, I'll usually just give it to someone. But at those prices, I'm either getting my money back or getting more stuff from Half Price Books. But anyway, what we have here, and I think these are in order from lowest price to highest price. But this is Doc Savage Omnibus number 4. So it's got 4 Doc Savage novels, which are all very short. They're like 150 pages. 4 in 1. And then we have Doc Savage Omnibus number 5, which has 5 in 1. And then the most expensive one, for some, I don't know why, Omnibus number 8, which we're back to 4 in 1. You'd think the one with 5 in it would be the more expensive one. But anyway, as a huge Doc Savage fan, very, very excited to find these. And it turns out I only have 2 other of the omnibuses, and it's number 12 and 13, I believe. So I didn't have to worry about that. They won't be returned. I have not nearly as many Doc Savage as I used to have. I've probably mentioned that before. But I do have, there's 1, 2... They were being reprinted by Bantam as individual books. So I have a nice little stack of those. And then they started printing them as double books. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. So 2 books per book. And then they started doing the omnibuses. And I had 2. Now I've got 3 more. And it goes at least up to 13. And I've got 5. So there's 8, at least 8 omnibi that I don't have. I don't... Excuse me, I'm getting a dry throat. I don't know how many of the double novels there are. And I know there's a ton of the individuals that I don't have. I also have some of the new stuff written by Will Murray. But those are in their own section because they don't fit where I have the other stuff. Anyway, I was very excited, even though it was a budget breaker, to get these Doc Savage books. And that's everything that I picked up this week. I found out that Talk to Me, the movie Talk to Me, is on Netflix. And so maybe, depending on what I'll probably end up reading, but I do want to see Talk to Me. So maybe before the next time I do a weekly wrap up, I will have watched it, but I'm making no promises whatsoever. Because I want to finish Horns, and then I'm jumping into the Stephen King, and that might take up all my time. You know, I always pick reading over watching stuff. So I think that's it. No other news. nothing else to wrap up. Question for the video. Are there any books that you are on the hunt for that you would pay a premium price for? I think it's always it's a matter of taste. I know plenty of people that wouldn't pay anything for a book because I don't know nearly enough readers in the real world. But plenty of people that wouldn't pay $30 for this little paperback. But I obviously would, and I did. So, is there something you've been looking for, or maybe there's something you have? You already paid that premium price. Is there something you're looking for that you would pay that extra bit because you really, really want to have that book? Again, obviously, for me, the answer is yes. Of course, it also depends on the funds in my wallet. If I didn't, it didn't actually wreck my budget. It changed my budget a bit. But, if it was literally this was going to take the last of my spending money, I would have had, that's still tough because I can usually figure out how to get through to the next paycheck. But I'm trying to think. I've done it before. There have been books that I've paid that extra bit for, a price that some people would think was crazy, because it's something that I've really, really wanted. I'm obviously a book hoarder. I want to be surrounded by books. I want to be buried in books. I don't know if I've mentioned that I love books. What about you? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Do not spoil the new Stephen King for me. You will be banned if you do. So yeah, any comments, questions, corrections, put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers, except for Stephen King. Just post spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. If you care to follow me on other social media, I'll have links for my Instagram and Bluesky in the description below. And that's all I have for you this week. So until next week, read more books.